Welcome, Minecrafters. This is a tour of a new minecart station I've been working on. I've been going for buttonless. As you can see, it's very low profile, all exposed. Well, all the ins and outs exposed. This could be built into a building of any sort, but I've kept it as minimal as possible for this initial run. It's attached to elevated tracks to keep the mobs off. This is the departure, this is arrival. The nice thing about this is the departure ramp here, because it's unpowered, will detect unoccupied minecarts. They won't be able to make it to the top, and instead they will be sent into a return. Now, as I said, this is all buttonless. You just get in and go. Now that departure system I've seen other people use. I don't know who invented it. But this arrival I haven't seen anybody else do, and it works like that. Basically, as soon as you get out of the cart, it releases this button and triggers the return of the minecart. And as I said, it has unoccupied minecart detection. There it goes. And if a cart arrives with no rider, because there's nobody to get out and cause the button to be pushed, if another cart comes in, occupied or unoccupied, I'll do it unoccupied so you can watch this, it returns the previous cart due to a sensor way out here. There you go. Which does the exact same thing as pushing the button. Which you can also do like that. Now it's sitting on soulsand on both the arrival and the departure, so these won't get pushed around. It's pushing me back out of it. If I go a little farther, it will push the button and trigger its launch. But like I said, that just sends it back into the system and a new one comes up. So let's take a look inside. Drop down. Everything's buried. We have all of the circuitry on this side, and back behind that short wall is the Pez dispenser and all the track. I made a nice big Pez dispenser. I hate running out while I'm working. There's not much over here except the standard piston Pez dispenser at the bottom, a looping track that takes it around up to the departures. You can see the edge of the minecart that's sitting there on the block of soulsand here at the departures. If there's one already there, it will bounce as long as the whole station is oriented properly. I'll check what that orientation is and get back to you, probably in the comment description, and get sent back into the Pez dispenser, which is completely full at the moment. If another one was here, it would just be looping back and forth, which is probably something I should fix, but works for now. The overflow comes in that crack there, drops down and goes into the system there. Actually, there should be a block there. Actually, because it joins this one in a slope, it'll go this way, bounce, and go back in. And the arrivals, there's the arrival point above this block of soulsand. The track is along here. Cart stops there. You get out, the button's pushed, it drops down, and also returns to the Pez dispenser. Now the circuitry is not as complicated as it looks if you know some redstone. The button for departure is here. When it gets pushed, it sends a signal into this monostable circuit. Now, it was actually working without this repeater, which breaks the monostable circuit, and it was working. So this part, I'll have to experiment. I may not need it. But the output from that goes into this torch, which activates the first piston, which slides the block above this one, the soulsand, and I think another 2 blocks Yes, another 2 blocks. Excuse me. Over to the side. The minecart sitting on the soul sand is slightly lower, so the surface of the soul sand is not as high as the surrounding blocks. So when it pushes the soul sand and the next block, it also, the lip of the next block, pushes the minecart onto the track. It snaps the track and takes off. Then the second piston, after going through this delay, activates and resets all the blocks. Now notice all these delays are set to only 2, and that's because the output from the monostable circuit is very short. If you set this to 3 or 4, it would eat the off signal, because these things stay powered on until they drain. If they get repowered before they're finished draining, the output will never go dark. So these have to be short, and then you need a lot of them if you want to delay it for a significant amount of time, which I do. Now the arrivals works pretty much the same way, except it uses a different trick. The button here is on this piece of soul sand where the cart is. When you get into it, the signal comes in and goes into this edge detector. Now nothing happens on the output when you turn this on, but when you get out of the cart and release the button, this goes dark, and the edge detector sends out a very short signal when it goes dark. The signal is lengthened by these 2 repeaters of different lengths. Comes out one and comes out the other, keeping this output lit longer. Goes through an inverter and around over here to this torch to power the first piston, which slides these 3 blocks to the side. And as they're moving to the side, the minecart will fall through. I guess you can call that a glitch, and that was a mistake. Can I get a yes? The minecart will glitch through the moving pieces. The same thing happens to you if you're ever walking on blocks that are being piston shifted to the side. You often will fall through. Same thing with the minecart, falls through and returns the Pez dispenser. And then the output from the edge detector also goes through a bunch of repeaters, another inverter. Again, all set to 2. If they're set to 3 or 4, it would eat the signal. Though the last one is only set to 1, that seemed to work better. And activates the second piston, which resets the blocks to the way they were. The only other piece is back here. This is the input from that remote track sensor that I showed you. It comes in here, repeater because it's so long, goes down there, which comes out up here without any surprises, and does the exact same thing as pushing the button, or releasing the button does. I could bring that sensor closer in by adding a monostable circuit to its input. So right now it I can do something else with it. Basically, because it's the off that works, it's when the track detector activates for a little while, and then when it goes off, this all activates, which means it has to be put far away so that there's enough time for this all to activate and clear out before the minecart arrives. Maybe if I had hooked it straight to the back, right through here. I'll have to try that. That might make it a little bit faster. And that's it. Oh, the only other thing, let's see. In the departures, first it powers over there, shifts all the blocks this way. It comes to the delay, powers this piston, shifts them all back. But when the power to this block goes dark, not only does that torch turn on, but go over here. That is the same block with the torch on top to power the piston. When it goes dark, this goes dark, and this goes all the way down to the back of the piston down there. You just see it. There. Now the piston is in its extended position here, and the minecarts have dropped down through it. When that goes dark, it will retract, and then a moment later it will power back on again, and the piston will push a minecart out. This looks a little ugly with the minecart sitting inside it, but who's going to come down here and see it? Except you lot. And I hope you enjoyed seeing it, because that's pretty much everything there is to see here. We can go back upstairs and take one more. Oh, it's gotten dark. I have lots of glowstone down there so monsters won't spawn inside the works, and nothing worse than having a creeper arrive on the cart you're wanting to ride. Let's go for a ride one more time. You get in, and you go. You arrive, you get out, cart gets put away. It's as easy as that. Now, one other thing, I like to use switches to power my minecart track. It doesn't require any extra blocks, it just sticks to the side, and whoops, you can turn it on and off if you like. But for multiplayer, that's probably better. You really don't want people in multiplayer coming along and toggling your tracks on and off. I haven't tested this design in multiplayer. I just finished it this evening, but hopefully it'll work. They do get a little bit touchy, this glitch going through, and even this, sometimes if the timing isn't right, this button and that piece of track will get destroyed. I don't know what causes it, but it seems if you get the timing right, it's stable. I'll have to test it some more to make sure it's very stable, but I hope so, because if it's not, the design is crap. It really is, because if those get destroyed, you got to come and rebuild them every time, and that's no good. But it's been working pretty well for me. I've been testing it repeatedly. I like it myself. Minimal, no buttons, easy to use. And that is my buttonless minecart station. I hope you like it. Thank you very much.